All right, everybody, welcome back to the video lecture series for Intro to GIS at Radford University. This would be day 2, and what we're going to work on, if we go ahead and share my screen for you guys, sorry about that. I'll go get screen 2. There you go. What we're going to do today is basically install some software and start with one of our very first lessons in labs. And so if we go over here to the course schedule, we can see that this on day 2 you need to basically work on module 2. So modules pretty much are work that you need to do for a single day, but there's a little bit of wiggle room in our 3-week schedule. So we can see that we need to install ArcGIS Desktop. In addition, we need to install QGIS, and I'll talk a little bit more about those later. And then I want you to do lesson 1 and lab 1. You can see they're both due, but remember, due dates are suggestions. Okay, so if we were going to go over to our modules here and look at more detail for module 2, you can see that the first thing I want you to do is read these sections of your book, and I want you to pay careful attention for the instructions for downloading and installing ArcGIS. You might end up being on version 10.3, but there are no drastic differences. They just kind of make updates and fix bugs. So don't worry about it as long as you're on version 10. And remember, you need Windows, so if you don't have Windows, get in touch with me ASAP so that we can get Windows on your Mac. And then you can stop reading at chapter 1. Now, for those of you who don't have the book, if you go back into your table of contents and you go down to readings, you see that I have module 2 reading. And you go through here and they have some instructions for setting up your global account, which you were supposed to do yesterday. If you haven't done that, make sure you go back in there and do it. And through that, you can basically get a link to download ArcGIS Desktop, and it gives you a 180-day trial version. And the book, in the back page of the book, has an access code, but if you don't have it, you can get a trial version a different way, which I'll show you as well. But the book, last page, has an access code, and then here they have some instructions for basically how to go through and authorize your software. So I'd like you to basically read this whole document. Now, for everybody, what you're going to need to do is to download this trial version. So basically, you need to go into Google and type in trial version of ArcGIS. And this link right here is basically what we're going to want. So you go ahead, click on this, and you can either sign up right here for the trial, or if you're already logged in, then you won't need to do that. But basically, you put in your information, and then you'll click. It looks like it's 60 days if you don't have the book, 180 days with the book, but either way, it's going to be fine. And what you really want to make sure that you get is you want ArcGIS Desktop. Okay, and I know that ArcGIS Pro comes with it, but we're not going to really mess with that in this class. We're going to focus on ArcMap. So you're going to download this. It's a pretty large install file, and then you're going to follow basically the instructions in module 2 reading for authorizing and licensing that. So I want everybody to get that installed today. Very important. If you have an issue, I want you to go in here to the discussion forums, and you can see there's software installation help. Basically, I'll be available to answer any questions that pop up. Now, this year we're doing something different, and I'm incorporating activities that use an open source GIS software platform called QGIS. There are several reasons why I want to do this. One is that ArcGIS is quite expensive, so sometimes people get into jobs or an industry where they simply don't have the software that people are accustomed to, and QGIS is rapidly expanding open source GIS software, which basically means it's free to use. You could donate to the QGIS fund, but you don't have to. So what we're going to do here is, again, just do a Google search for QGIS, and it's going to take you to this page where it gives you an option to download QGIS. Now, one of the things that I really like about QGIS is that they have a version for both Windows and for Mac. So for the 1 or 2 Mac users we have, this is great for you because you can go in, you don't have to worry about it. You can download the Mac version of QGIS. For all other users, you're going to go to the Windows download, and you're going to want to pick the latest release, right? And make sure you pick either 32-bit or 64-bit, depending upon your computer. So you go ahead, click the 64-bit one, and then it will start download. Once that's download, you initiate the install and basically accept all the defaults, and you should be fine. Okay, so that will get us both of our software platforms installed, and then you should be able to basically go back through Module 2, which includes a lesson, which will get you working with some of the ArcGIS desktop tools, and also introduce you to some very basic concepts. And then there's also a really simple lab that uses an online GIS software platform called Arcgis Online. Super easy to do. You just answer question 1 in the essay at the end of this document, put it in a Word document, save it with your username, lab 1, upload it into the D2L Dropbox. If there's any issues with the lab, there's a lab 1 discussion forum. Please post your questions in there. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And if it's something private, you can always send me an email. It's perfectly fine as well. I just like other students to have access to help related problems. So pretty brief video today, but just make sure to get all that done, and then module 3 we will get involved in some analysis and some more high-level concepts. So that's all. Thanks a lot. Talk to you soon.